Hey guys, welcome. It's so good to see you here. Yeah, hope you don't mind that intro thing. That's just so I can get everything set up. I've seen it before where people do the countdown with YouTube and then it screws up, so I did that. Hope you guys don't mind. But anyways, big show tonight. Lots of stuff. We've got shout outs, we've got the contest to do, we got the actual part of the show, how I became a model railroader. So it's gonna be a big show. Got lots of you guys in here, and it does go fast. Wilmer was right. Hey Sparky, hey Gaffa, hey Ron, hey Nathan, you made it, nice. Jacob, hello. Ron, Toyman, Wilmer, I saw you earlier. Hi Cheryl. Nice guys, I really appreciate you guys being here. Like always, like and subscribe. You guys probably already subscribed though. I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. Also, check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I've got a lot of my modeling stuff on the side on there. More Instagram. I like Instagram more. But yeah. So let's get on with it. First of all, I want to say thanks to the team. I want to say thanks to Wilmer at Indian Head Valley Railroad. He's doing such a great job. I want to say thanks to Tony, Redbird Tony 2010, and also Tom Pilling, who will be coming up next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Little something to clear the air. I've been getting a lot of the credit for this idea, and the truth is, wasn't really my idea. If you go back to that video, really all I said was I was going to do a show just like this, but I only wanted to do it once a month. I just wanted to share the time slot. The first person to really kind of bring it to my attention to make it a joint thing was actually Sparky. Sparky made that comment on the video, and that kind of got me going. I kind of thought of it, but I didn't think it would really work. So anyways, the guys got a hold of me and got it together. Another thing, I was getting credit for the logo. The logo, actually, I designed one originally just to throw it out to the guys. It was just an old-fashioned microphone with on Track Tuesday, and I wanted train tracks coming out, kind of like the chord. It was hard to draw. It was actually, so anyways, it was Tom Pilling that came up with the idea with the little guy with the microphone. I just put it together, but it was actually Tom. So thank you so much, Tom. It's been great working with you. So yeah, so with that, let's go into, I've got this here. Let's go into the shout out section. So the first person I want to say thanks to and give a shout out to is Sparky 107. I find these guys don't get enough credit. Sparky's one of the bigger shows. I think he's one of the leaders of our group. He's always out there supporting. He does great contests. He's always helping. He's always encouraging. Even when I see a model railroad video come up on the suggestions, you go down to the comments, and like I said on the shout out video for the contest, for Sparky's contest, he's there all the time commenting. And I know Wilmer already did Sparky on his thing, but I had it too already on the computer. You can see it right there. The only thing I changed was I put the black outline on there. So the other person I want to mention is our pal Vinny, BNSF 6951. Vinny, also another beauty. He's such a great guy. He's also always one of the first to encourage me on my videos and on everybody else's videos. Super great guy. I really loved watching Vinny and Sparky and John Dilly having fun down there in Phoenix. That looked like such a great time. So that is the end of the shoutouts. Next, I just want to do some announcements, some other contests that are going on. We have John Dilly's contest. John Dilly, basically, pretty simple. Where did he get the coal for his coal loads that he made? So go check that out. Another one is our pal Redbird Tony. He's doing a really cool contest where you go around checking out other people's channels. So you go and check them out, comment, he sees it, he enters you into the contest. I think it's a pretty cool idea. Another one is Hot Rod Rodney. he has one. I can't remember both of the questions, but the one was the name of the cat in some of his videos, his cat. So check out Hot Rod Rodney. He's got another contest going on. Another contest is M Peter LL. His contest, you basically do a shout out video, kind of like Sparky's last contest. You do a shout out video, he enters you in, and there you go. So guys, I think what we'll do now is we will do my contest. What do you guys think? Should we do the draw? So I'll just show you real quick the prizes. Here it is. It came in. The Dremel 3000. And what else I threw in was these drill collets. So you throw that in. What that will do, you can convert this into a micro drill, and man, it's so handy. It's the greatest thing ever, because the collet that comes with the Dremel, you can't use the micro bits, it's too big, so you use that. So got that. There's also your choice of a shirt. I'm not going to show you all the shirts because there's so many of them, but you have 4 choices. You can go to the contest video. It's basically this. The back says Eat, Sleep, Trains. The other one is Thinking Outside of the Boxcar. The third one is on the front, it says I got caught playing with my, and then in small print it says Trains. And on the back it says Creative Rails. And then the fourth one, same one, I got caught playing with my trains, except it's the YouTube one, which where it shows and stuff. But if you want, I mean, you can have that if you want. Funny thing, I was at a show on the weekend, and a woman caught the shirt. She freaking loved it, and she had bad eyes, so it was really good. She's, you got caught playing with what? What did you? Trains. She freaking lost her mind. It was great. So it worked. It's funny. So that's my favorite shirt. So anyways, guys, oh yeah, there you go. That's the other prize too, the Creative Rails mug. Little product placement there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I've got a list here. I've got 23 entrants. It's so funny. I had like, I think that video had about 130 views, and I only have 23 entrants. There's something going on with the contests lately. I tried to make it super easy. I mean, everything, all the answers were there in the first minute. I wore my Canadian national pin. You know what I mean? It's pretty funny. Anyways, I don't know. I think it's a good prize. If you guys, like I said before, give it away. Give the Dremel away for Christmas if you already have one. It's perfect. Keep the collets for yourself and keep the swag for yourself. Anyways, I just saw your comment, Sparky. That's awesome. Beer cup. No, it's water. Or is it? I'm not going to tell you. You can figure that out. So anyways, I'm going to do it a little different. I got this bingo wheel that we play with at home. It does go up to 100, but I took some of the bigger numbers out because it goes up to 23. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to roll this, and it will drop them. And as soon as, I'm just going to drop a couple, and we'll see what we got here. And the first number is 18, okay? So number 18 is Mr. Jeff Allen. So Jeff Allen, there you go. There's my sheet. As you can see, I'm not cheating. Number 18, Jeff Allen. Congratulations. What I'll do, I'll email you. Get your shirt size and what shirt you want, get your address, and there you go. So Jeff, congratulations. You are the first winner of my first contest. I'm sure there'll be more to come, guys. So congratulations, Jeff. That's great. Okay, so we've done our contest. I think it's time. We're moving along pretty good here. Actually, I'm going to show you guys something. This is kind of like Steve Brown's, and DY and Digital does this as well. Just kind of switches it up, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. Changes your screens, kind of fun. So yeah, there we go. What are you guys saying on here? Nice, congratulations, Jeff. Yay, Jeff. Congrats, Jeff. Jacob J, congrats. Yeah, that's awesome, guys. All right, so I'm gonna transition back here. So I'm kind of new to this, so you guys just bear with me while I do it. I think we've gone through everything. We've done the contest, shoutouts and all that. I think what we're gonna do is we will jump into the show. So how did I become a model railroader? So what I'm gonna do is change this over. Don't worry, I'm still here. And this part of the show is called How I Became a Model Railroader. Do you guys like my voice there? Okay. So, I get asked this all the time, especially from, people that aren't model railroaders. How did you get into trains? So it's kind of a long story, and it's kind of, I really don't know. It's most of you know, it's kind of a hard thing to answer, but this is the best thing I can come up with. One of my first memories, probably my first memory ever, was a trip to Chicago. Now, I'm Canadian. What were we doing in Chicago? My aunt and uncle lived there. My uncle worked for the steel industry, and for some reason, he was transferred down there to work for the steel industry for a couple of years. So I was about 3 years old, so I barely remember it. It's kind of a hazy, foggy memory. But we went down there, and there's two memories from that trip. First memory is this, a place called Showbiz Pizza. This was kind of an early version of Chuck E. Cheese pizza. There's dancing bears and ball pits and slides. I don't really remember a lot of it, but that's the main thing I remember. The other memory was a gift. So since we didn't see each other that often, the families, it was kind of a customary thing that the aunts and uncles would get the cousins and the kids a gift. So it was time for my gift. And my dad and my uncle were kind of off to the side getting this thing ready, and they're just stay back, and okay. And they were putting in batteries. I remember they had a screwdriver and little screws, and they're putting oil into this thing, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, finally it was time for the big reveal, and what it was a red, shiny steam engine. And man, was I blown away. Yeah, it was so awesome. They fired it up, and look at me go. It fired up, and then it would spin, and then it would go woo woo, and then it would spin again, and I was just blown away. The side rods going, the working parts, smoke came out of it, the light lit up on the front. Man, what a gift. It was just absolutely mind-boggling to me. I'll never forget that moment. And you know what's really cool? I still have it. There it is. That's my first train. This thing would be about 32, 33 years old. And just, I mean, I played with this a lot, my brother and I. My brother played with it too. It had the flame, and there's just a sticker. But I mean, this thing just blew my mind when I was a kid. It still does. It's on display. I have a little bar out in my garage. It's out on display in there. I still have it. So that brings me to the next part of the story. So that kind of started the obsession with trains. Now, I grew up in a small town in mid-northwestern Ontario called Owen Sound. In Owen Sound, we had a CN branch and a CP branch coming in. By the time I was old enough to remember, CN was taken out. The tracks were taken up around 88 or 89, so I don't really remember CN a whole lot. But CP, I do remember. And CP was on the east side of the river. So what happened was, I'm going to show you a picture here. My dad owned a fuel hauling company, and at first it was owned by Texaco. So this is a shot of it. I got Dad to send me some of these pictures. Here's a shot of it right here. It's called Mooney Brothers Fuels. And I did a little shout out to that on my last layout, which I'll show you guys in a bit here. But anyways, on the way down, Mom would always, we'd always go visit Dad at work, and we'd go to the old office there. And every time we would go, you would drive and you'd look through the buildings. Building, alleyway, train. Building, alleyway, train. And my brother and I would do that every time. There they are. And I still remember to this day the CP multi-mark on the boxcars. And they were probably actually cylindrical hoppers. Now, looking back on it, what I know now, switching the grain elevators there. Because grain was a huge export in Owen Sound. But anyways, every time. And on top of that, think about the buildings and trains in the background. I still, from a young kid, still bring that into my modeling. I still try to have things in the foreground. So whether it's trees or buildings, I still always like to have the trains in the background. It's just, and I think that's where that comes from. That looks realistic to me. It's hard for switching. It can be a pain for operations, but it looks so realistic in my opinion. So anyways, the thing that, now you guys will all know this feeling. You'd always see the boxcars in the yard, but you'd never see a locomotive. So this is where we'd visit Dad. And I'm just gonna go back one page here. If you guys, there's my mouse. If you guys can see right there, that's the rails coming in. So it crossed right in front of the plant. And CP back in the 70s, CP would actually bring tank cars into the plant, but at that time I wasn't even born. So my dad, I think he took over in 75. So he said it only happened a few times when he was there, but just to get an idea, that's what it looked like. So this is another shot here. You can just see the loading rack. So it's it'd be a cool model to do, except I'm going to be doing the east side. If you look here, that's the grain elevators on the west side. So that's on the other side of the bay. That's where CN was. These are the marine tanks. So Shell was down there too. They would normally, by this time, fuel would come in by ship or truck. Back in the day, it would come in by train or ship. And Dad was saying normally gasoline would come in by ship and diesel would come in by train. So these are the marine tanks. This is where the ships would unload into the marine tanks. So this view here, I don't know if you guys can see these, but these tanks here, my brother and I used to play on these tanks. Like we used to play Ninja Turtles and Batman and stuff. It's funny how things have changed. I mean, that would never fly today. That was our playground. My dad, he would be like, "Don't break anything. We don't want to spill." Like he didn't care. You know what I mean? It was just a different time. But that's where we'd play. So anyways, growing up in Owen Sound, we would always hear, you guys know the noise, the train horn. But like I said, we would never, ever, ever see an engine. Well, one day, Andy and I were playing. Andy's my brother. We were playing and we hear the horn. And I mean, we just looked at each other like that. Like, heard it again. And run, 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 Andy, run. And we went flying and we ran down to the tracks, like across the parking lot, and across it came. And what a sight. I had never seen anything like this in my life. Even at that age, I would have been really young, probably like 5 or 6. Even at that age, just being mind-boggled that man could make something this big and this powerful. The smoke was roaring out of it, and it was the rumble from it. And you'll understand in a minute why there was smoke and why the rumble. But oh my goodness, what an experience. And the engineer even waved at us. And I never forgot that. So here is, this isn't my picture, but just so you guys get an idea why there was a lot of smoke. Montreal Locomotive Works. These were common visitors there in Owen Sound, and these were probably the ones that we saw. So Montreal, for you guys in America, Montreal Locomotive Works is basically Elco. Elco Motors, same. Montreal Locomotive Works is just a subsidiary of Elco, so that's why they were so smoky. So now the obsession is hook, line, and sinker, right? So of course, what do I want? The almighty train set. And here's my first train set. Santa Fe. Now, I always thought this was like a lifelike train set, but it wasn't. It's actually, I looked it up. It's a Mahano, or Mahano, however you want to say it. And what, pretty funny, I still have that. Now, it's all broken. My cousins, when I was a little kid, broke it. They like to run it into things and smash it, so they smashed all the grab irons. But I still have it. It probably does still run. But it's an SD40. But yeah, that's my first HO scale engine, and that's pretty well where I got into HO scale. So let's move forward ahead in time a little bit. I would have been around 11, 12 years old. We went for a trip across Canada out to British Columbia. This is where I saw my first real freight train, and I mean real freight train. So the little freight train in Owen Sound, I thought that was a train. Yeah. This is what we saw in British Columbia. Just absolutely mind-blowing. So the funny thing about that too, every train that went by on CP, I don't remember CN there, but CP seemed to be all the time. 3 SD40-2s, huge amount of cars, and then 2 SD40-2s in the middle. And then a huge number of cars again. And I remember my dad even being blown away. Like, how are they throttling those things? How does that work? I don't understand. And even myself as a little kid, like, yeah, how does that work? Like, how's that? There's nobody in those engines. And it just blew my mind. So by this time, we moved out from Owen Sound onto the farm. And coming back from there, I said, Dad, I want to take my train set and I want to build that. I want to build that. So what happened was Dad built me an 8x8 foot table, and that's how it started. That was my first layout. And it's funny, all the same mistakes we all make. 18-inch curves. It had the not nickel silver, it had like the steel rail, number 4 turnouts. So like my SD40s, the front wheel would come off sometimes and stuff. But it was pretty good. And that's where I learned. So, going from there, in Owen Sound, we didn't really have a train store. We had a hobby shop called Leisure World, and you couldn't really get it had like RC cars, models. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I remember one day we were at the mall, and we went to the bookstore, and I found this. And I still have it. This is my first model railroader. And you can see it, 1996. So it's pretty old now. It's kind of scary. But I remember a couple pages in, right here, this shot right here changed everything. Right there. That layout blew my mind. And that's where I think the bug went even deeper, right? So I would do everything I could. So it started out as an 8x8 foot table. Originally, I was trying to build the mountains of BC. So I'd use what I had around the house. You know, we had chicken wire because we had chickens. So I made a mountain out of chicken wire and tried putting plaster on. The plaster wouldn't stay, it'd kind of go through. So the guy that my dad knew, he was an old model railroader and he kind of got out of it, but he used to do it. And he's the one that told my dad about plaster cloth wrap. So Dad started bringing me home plaster cloth wrap. And this is before Woodland Scenics had it, or anybody was doing that. It was kind of, I think it was a Jeff Allen thing, if I'm correct. Even if Woodland Scenics did have it, we wouldn't be able to get it in Owen Sound. So anyways, in that mountain and in my scenery, I had anything I could find. I would use, there was a pop bottle in there was egg cartons, there was cereal boxes, anything I could think of. I even used spray foam before foam was used because Dad had it. Oh, that's kind of, Dad built an addition on the house. There was spray foam left over. That might make some cool mountains. I'd cover that in plaster, and that's how it went. So had that layout for a number of years. I did expand it a bit. I went around the walls and everything and looped back, and I joined a club in Owen Sound, and I was with them for, it was kind of a roving club. We'd go club to club, and I remember my first open house at my place was a disaster. It was a huge disaster. The layout never ran so bad. I mean, derailments, shorts. Another thing about that layout too, I thought I should throw in, that layout was DCC. I was one of the first people around in that area that took on DCC. I kind of got, and you'll find this funny, I was really anti-DCC when I was a kid. When it first came out, I thought it was stupid. That's ridiculous. I'm never doing it. I was wiring the layout for block control. But a guy, we got talking at the one store way over in Meaford, and he convinced me. What happened was he showed me a locomotive on the track with the headlight on and another locomotive moving at the same, and the other one staying still, and that just blew my mind. So that was instantly hooked on DCC, and I've never went back. So I was hardwiring decoders from a very early age, probably 14 probably, I guess. And speaking of the mountain that I was talking about with all this stuff, and I wanted to just do a little shout out to Nathan DeLay. He was on here. I hope he's still on here. That's why I love his channel and his modeling, what he's doing with those pop cans and everything, making his own homemade engines. I think that's just absolutely fantastic, and I think that is what model railroading is about. Anyways, let's skip forward. I ended up going to school in London. Still bought stuff. Always, you know how it is. You're always addicted. Still buying stuff. Ended up moving to Toronto. Mel's my wife now, but at the time my girlfriend. We got an apartment together, and that's where I started Willow Falls. And you guys saw Willow Falls on another video, but here it is. I'm just gonna back up for a sec here. Over here, there's supposed to be a transfer table for staging, but I never ended up doing it. But anyways, here, this is the, I was running Lens. So I was surprised a lot of us on Toyman's channel the one night for live stream. A lot of people didn't know Lens. Lens actually apparently invented DCC. It's a really, it's a German company, but it's a really robust system. I really love it, but I'm gonna change. That's gonna be a future thing to talk about, is what system I'm gonna switch to. But that's what I ran for years and years, was Lens. So just a few shots here going through. I'm sure you guys have already seen these photos. So there's some furnace filter trees and a Walther's coaling tower. This is a nice. So I would have been in my early 20s here. So I hand painted that desk myself, and just like us all, just getting better and better and practicing and, you know, learning my craft. So that's the scratch built engine shed I did, and I put little details, just having fun, right? That was a cast pool table that I hand painted, and some tools in the background that I painted. Somewhere for the crew to play. Now, at the same time, I joined a club called the Scarborough Model Railroaders, and it was a really great club. Huge layout down in the basement, and when I brought this engine to the club, a lot of people would ask me how I did my curtains. I got a lot of questions about that. They're just Kleenex, and they didn't have paint on them or nothing. It was just Kleenex folded up, and I would put a little weathering powder on them, and that was that. But they got a ton of attention. It's another idea for industry. Jack's Cole didn't even have a ramp or anything. It was just a conveyor belt, so it's kind of like, it looked like a team track, but lots of opportunities for switching. This layout kept me so busy. It was only about 8 feet long, 2 feet deep, but man, it kept me busy. Fantastic. This is a shout out to my dad and my uncles. And there's just another shot of Mooney Brothers Fuels. Now, it didn't really look like that, but there actually was a fuel plant close to Owen Sound in a town called Chesley that looked a lot like that. Another idea, this is like something you'd call this the modeler's license. Willow Falls Chevrolet. I'm sure an automobile boxcar wouldn't deliver cars to a small town like this, but I mean, man, use your imagination. Do it if you want it, right? It's your railroad. So there's Willow Falls in the background there. I called it Willow Falls, and it's funny because my first live stream that I watched was Sparky's. And when he did the willow tree, and I thought it was hilarious, you guys are all chirping him. A willow tree is super hard to do. I tried scratch building some, and they are the hardest to do. And another funny thing I thought with that, when I was watching the comments, everybody's saying, bugging Sparky about the willow tree being too big. I disagree. The trunk was a little fat, but when you really look, I think we really give trains, for some reason, we want to make the trains a lot bigger than what they are in perspective. They're really not that small. And I think it started maybe with Woodland Scenics and their plastic armatures. But a good example is watch some of Wilmer's videos. When he's shooting out front of his house, you'll see the size difference. Like the trees, look, watch Wilmer's videos. The trees are towering over those locomotives. So I thought Sparky's tree was fine. Everybody's saying it was O-scale. I disagreed with that. I thought that tree was pretty good. So let's move forward. Mel and I ended up buying a house, and we bought a house. This is a funny thing. We bought the house with the intentions of building a big model me building big model railroad, and we looked on purpose for one with an unfinished basement, but then things change. I ended up getting a job as a project manager. I was traveling all across Canada building stores, and then we had our little girl Millie, and she is now 3, but it just put everything on hold, and it changed everything. So now what I'm doing is I'm finishing the basement, and I'm turning it into a home office, home theater, but I also need to have my trains too. So I've gone back to the switching layout idea, but this one's going to be different. It's going to be a lot longer. It's 18 feet. It's going to be the west side of Owen Sound, the CNR yard, and then it's going to go around the walls into staging in my furnace room. So it's going to be quite a feat. It's going to be there's a lot of cool things to model. So what I'm doing, I'm already building my fleet. Big thing in Owen Sound is grain cars, and at that time in the 50s it was boxcars they would use for grain. So I'm collecting Canadian National boxcars. Pretty well done with that. I'm done my passenger service. Now I'm working on my CP cars and just kind of upgrading as I go. Like I sold off a ton of stuff, and now I'm scratch building everything as far as buildings go. So anyways, yeah, So let's go back. What am I doing now? So to keep myself busy, I have decided to build a diorama. And this is where I'm at now. So that you guys have probably seen these pictures. This is on my diorama. This is only about 3 feet by 18 inches deep, I believe. Or it's like 33 inches by 18 inches deep. And all this was to really was just to practice with some homemade Sculptamold I saw online. So it was just to do that, practice my rose, practice my painting. And another thing I do, I like oil painting on the side. So I wanted to try oil paintings as backdrops. And so that was another point of this. And this shows an oil painting as a backdrop here. This photo here, for some reason, blew up on Instagram. It was funny, but all this was a test. I was just testing the backdrop and how it would look. But it got a lot of attention. It was pretty cool. It was just taken with my cell phone. This is just a little shot of, this is what the Owen Sound grain extra will look like. So it'll be like RS3, stuff like that, pulling trains of boxcars of grain. And that is the end of the show. So I hope you guys like that. I hope I didn't bore you to death. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to our home camera. So yeah, so that's it. That's where I am now, guys. So I'm in the planning stages. So when I was talking about on my one update video, when I was talking about the steam engines I'm building, those are steam engines that actually ran on the Owen Sound branch line. And so I'm scratch building the boilers and using old Varney chassis. So that video's coming up. I'm experimenting with the motors. I'm actually redoing an engine for Wilmer right now. The funny thing is, so Wilmer's here. I've been texting Wilmer a bit. I've been waiting forever for these motors. They're 500 RPM. Tons of torque. It's insane. You can't even grab this thing. They're tiny. Like they would work for N scale. So much power. Smooth. The locomotives crawl like you wouldn't believe. Wilmer's engine, it's an old Mahano, however you want to say it, an old Mahano engine. The thing is the smoothest running steam engine I've ever seen. It's better than the best of my locomotives that I have. Better than my Atlas, better than my Proto 2000s, better than the Katos. It's just a phenomenal running thing. There's one problem. The thing sounds like a jet engine. It's insane. It's because it's a high, I guess it runs at higher at a lower voltage, and then it's geared down with these little gears. So the thing, it's vibrating really bad on the plastic chassis. So I'm trying to find a way to insulate it, and I'm experimenting with different ways to get it to not be so freaking loud. So I feel so bad for Wilmer. He's been waiting so long. So anyways, Wilmer, there you go. That's the update on your steam engine. It's beautiful. I threw an LED headlight on and an LED backup light, and I put a flicker bulb in there so you have the glow of the firebox. So it's a beautiful running and beautiful looking machine. But man, is it ever loud. It's brutal. So anyways, I want to see what you guys are up to. I see if you guys are sleeping. So here we're back to the chat room. Hey guys. Oh, Ron Toyman, you had to take off. See ya, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Gaffa. SMT, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up for you. I'm gonna do a show on it. That's the Steam thing that's coming up. So I don't know. The thing, it's just, they're not that, like when you hold it, it's not that loud. It's when it, and I think on my brass locos, it'll be fine. And on the Varneys, they're like a cast iron. So they're fine. But when it's on the plastic, oh my God. And I use silicone and everything like they all say. You got earplugs. You're gonna need them. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm a contractor and I'm a carpenter. You guys know that. I have a mixing drill. Like this thing's as loud as my mixing drill. So I'm just messing around with it, Wilmer. I'll get it to you, okay? Don't worry. Hey, Vinny. It's OBS. So, hey, Dave. Take care, man. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Vinny, yeah, it's OBS. It's completely free. All I did, I just went on YouTube. That's kind of how this whole YouTube thing started. I use YouTube to find out everything. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's free. Just watch some videos of how it works. It's pretty simple. I've been kind of practicing around with it and messing up, so I'm learning. So that's why I'm kind of not always looking at you guys. I've kind of got things going on all over the place here, but yeah, I think it's working good. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions? Now, I noticed there's a really long delay. Hey, Todd. That's good. Thanks for tuning in, Todd. That's awesome. Yeah, I have a really long, quite a long delay. It's about 10 seconds. So I'll just give you guys a couple minutes if you want to ask any questions or say anything. Sparky, you're taking off. Oh, no, Sparky's still here. Yeah, did anybody want to ask anything or... Thanks, Jacob. Jacob, you're up now. Jacob, okay, I wanted to talk to you because remember we were talking on your live stream. Remember we were talking about the hair? No, see that, buddy? So it was hilarious. You guys, if you haven't been on Jacob's live stream, it's freaking hilarious. He's just natural on there. You'll laugh so hard. But these guys are so mean to him. They're chirping him about his nose hairs and they're chirping him about his hair, that he's losing his hair. The guy's got a full head of hair. So I commented, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? The guy's got all his hair. You want to see receding hairline? Check out my hair. And then Jacob's like, oh my god, man, you just opened a can of worms. Like, you're insane. And you got to go check out Jacob. It's so funny. It's so much fun. I haven't been on there a while because he's on there constantly. He does like 14-hour live streams. But yeah, you got to check him out. He's just fantastic. So yeah, anyways, guys, we're doing really good here. We're at 7:42. So if nobody has any questions or wants to know anything, I'm not even gonna comment on that. If you guys want, I'm thinking go ahead and promote your channels like you guys do on Vinny's and on Sparky's. I probably won't read out your number of subscribers, but if you want to do that, go ahead. If you have anything coming up, any announcements, do that. It's free for all. Thank you, Gaffa. Gaffa, you're awesome, man. And I've seen you on the other live stream, so that's why I gave you the blue wrench. You do such a great job. And you know what? Here, I'll show you something funny. This is for you, Gaffa, because you're always doing this. This is to keep you so you don't have to be so busy. See that? Pretty fancy, eh? Somebody asked earlier if I'm Canada. Yeah, did you hear that? Yeah, I do have a bit of a Northern Ontario accent, I know. SMT mainline 1,121. Wow, I didn't know you had that many. That's awesome, man. Wilmer's at 205. Okay, look at me. I am reading them out. I'm being like Vinny now. Cheryl Crow 133. Sparky, you're taking a week off, another week off. That's great, man. Good for you. You deserve it. Just gave from my last video in my contest. I'm an HO scaler, Tony. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, and I'm leaving out a ton of stuff, but I mean, I don't want to drag it on, and I tried to make it kind of interesting with the pictures. But Redbird, Tony 231, Jacob 120, Chasco 98. Chasco, funny, weird question for you, but something I was wondering. Are you related to M. Peter LL? Nice. Okay, so Sparky's on. He's saying, so for Sparky, so that's tomorrow night, I'm guessing, on Sparky's live chat. I'm gonna turn that off, guys. Sorry. Hot Rod Ronnie's gonna do the live chat again, so go to Hot Rod Ronnie's channel for Sparky's live chat. EJ and Jeff 168. Nathan 258. That's awesome, man. You totally deserve it. Nathan, I love your channel. I love what you do. Gaffa 97. Gaff, I really love that. It was you that did the subway, I believe. The scratch built subway. I think that was you. I like that. That was really cool. I love scratch building stuff. Thanks, Herman. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Oh, Chesco, so you guys aren't related. It's funny, you guys, you almost sound alike and kind of look alike. And he did his one, because Ches, I thought you were in Florida, and he did a video from Florida, so I wondered if he was visiting you or something. You guys just seem, it's weird. I thought you were related for some reason. Vinny 3,139. That is so awesome. Sparky 2,529. These guys, and yeah, and I dedicated this show to you guys because I really love what you do. I love that you have these big channels and you still look out and look after the small guys like me. I think that is just so cool. People don't, because I think of Sparky too. Sparky's an electrician. I'm a carpenter. He's a busy guy. I know how busy he is and how hard he would work. So he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to be supporting and doing all these contests. He just does that out of the goodness of his heart. So that's why, and Vinny too, that's why I like these guys so much. I just think it's fantastic. Thanks, Nathan. No, don't say that to Wilmer Gaffa. No, see, and that's the cool part about this, is all these shows are completely different. And that's what I love about model railroading. You can have the same, let's say you're going to build a super tree. I'll build a super tree, you build a super tree. They're going to turn out completely different. That's the beauty of it. And that's what's the beauty of this this live stream idea, is that they're different shows, different styles. So I love how Wilmer does his live stream. It's awesome. Roy, it's so good to see you. Roy, you're one of my faves, man. Roy Smith. I got model railroad celebrities in here. This is awesome. Thanks, Roy, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. All the way from Panama. That is really cool. Oh, no problem, Vinny. I appreciate what you do so much, man. So anyways, we're getting to the end here. It's about 7:48 on my end. I wanted to do another little shout out. Go Via or Go Home. He's a buddy of mine on Instagram, but he's actually on YouTube as well. He's such a small world. He's friends with Mark from M&M Rails. He's from the Ottawa area, I believe. So he's coming up after at 8 p.m. with his, I think it's his first live stream. He announced that on Instagram, so go check that out. And I think I saw somewhere in there that Jacob's gonna go live as well. So guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Let's get off of here. There we go. I'm back. I want to just thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you for the support and the help and the comments. I just love hanging out with you guys on the live streams and watching your shows and watching your updates and watching your layouts. It's just a blast. You guys mean so much to me. It's funny. You guys feel like family to me. I know we don't really know each other, but I feel like I do know you just from watching you on TV and interacting with you guys. You mean a lot to me. So with that, I want to say to my friends down in the States, which is a bunch of you guys, happy Thanksgiving. You guys, when I did that Canadian Thanksgiving video, so many of you guys came. I couldn't believe the amount of you that went on there to wish me and my family a happy Thanksgiving. So right back at you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna shut it down. There's just gonna be like a closed screen, but I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes so you guys can keep going if you want to talk, and then go on over and tune in to Go Via or Go Home, or tune in to Jacob J. So Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had a really great time. It's my first live stream. Thank you for bearing with me and sticking with me to the end. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.